Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is our NXT review. But before we talk about NXT, there is a gargantuan elephant in the room. Seems like an alliance has either happened, or maybe it'd be more appropriate to say that it's going to the next level. Kenta showed up on AEW tonight, laid out Jon Moxley, and tell me, partner, what was it hinted that he was going to be in an alliance with Omega, Kenta?
No. Quite the opposite, actually. Apparently, Omega, after Kenta hit the GTS on Moxley, Omega did like the arrogant heel thing where he acted like he did all the work and he put his foot on Moxley and like posed with the belt and stuff. And Kenta just kind of looked at him like, you slimy fuck kind of thing.
Yeah. So very interesting to me. Good build up here for Kenta versus Moxley, inevitably for the U.S. Championship. That's not the only development we got. We know AEW may finally remember that it has a women's division. So, Ashton, why don't you talk about those developments there?
Yeah. So this, I mean, don't get me wrong. The Kenta news is very exciting. It's very important. It's potentially ground or earth-shattering. But the thing that actually caught my attention was that there's going to be a women's championship eliminator tournament where half the bracket's going to take place in the U.S. And, you guys already know pretty much everyone that's in that. But then the other half is going to be taking place in Japan. And the women that are going to be in the Japan half, we've got Aja Kong, who I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with. She's a legend, and she's probably the worst worker on this side of the bracket. And I would still say she's better than about half the workers on the other side of the bracket, if not more. Yuka Sakazaki, which AEW fans are already familiar with as well because she's worked there before. She's great. Venny, who I think is going to be a lot of people's revelations for this tournament because she is exceptional. She is insanely athletic. She is ridiculous. She is going to be like, you know how, like, when AEW kind of first started up and everyone was like, wow, Riho, she's so cool. And Riho was like this phenomenon that was like everyone knew who she was and loved her. Venny is going to be that, except probably even more so because Venny is probably more impressive athletically and just like in the ring in general than Riho is. Emi Sakura, who a lot of people are already familiar with because she's already like been on AEW pay-per-views and stuff. Ryo Mizunami, who I'm not as familiar with, but I do know that she's pretty damn good in the ring. Mai Suruga, who I absolutely love. She's really the face of Gato Move. And Gato Move is Emi Sakura's promotion. So Mai is one of Emi's students. She's awesome though. She's a high-speed wrestler. She's really good. She has had matches with Azumi before. You can find those probably online somewhere. She's great. Rin Kadokura, who has actually wrestled in Stardom just this past year. She was the one that teamed up with Meiho Shizuki and Takumi Iroha in the 3-on-3 match against QQ. That was her. And the real elephant in the room, the real big story here, Maki motherfucking Ito is in AEW. Holy shit. I can't believe it's finally happening. I'm a little disappointed that we got this big tournament with 8 Japanese women in it and Miyu Yamashita is nowhere to be found, but very excited for Venny and for Maki Ito and for Mai Suruga. Those three are the 3 big names that really kind of stick out to me. Yuka, I'm guessing, is probably going to one that wins this side of the bracket, but you never really know with AEW. I mean, given, like you said, Kenta showed up tonight, so you really do never know.
Absolutely. So we'll have to follow that closely. In the meantime, switching gears to NXT, not a bad episode for them tonight. Both Dusty Classics continued to progress. Edge, man, dude, I just got to say as a quick aside, a lot of people have been saying, like in the comments when WWE uploads Edge segments to YouTube, that his time as an actor has really helped his promos. And I think that's kind of selling him short a little bit because I always feel like Edge was a solid promo even before he really immersed himself in the acting world. But I do, however, think that the acting time that he got really did refine his promos. And, he says, like, I have grit. That was his whole thing when he came back. There is a grittiness to his promos and a real genuine emotion, probably because every time he comes out there, he never thought he'd be able to do that again, right? So all of this is to say that I feel like he had a great segment tonight. He put over, I mean, let me tell you something, because you guys know I was a bit hard on both of these matches. I feel like Edge, just with a promo, put over the NXT Championship more than all of the physicality between Balor and O'Reilly that genuinely hurt each other for that championship. That's just my 2 cents. So I feel like Edge killed it tonight. He definitely brings an air of legitimacy to the NXT brand, which isn't to say that the brand itself doesn't, especially with a champion the caliber of Finn Balor. But Edge, I think, just kind of puts it over the edge. And yeah, just a lot of great developments. So what do you think about tonight's episode?
Yeah, I enjoyed tonight's episode of NXT, and believe it or not, I feel like the biggest positive to come out of tonight's NXT is the early look at the card for NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day, which, granted, is a really stupid name for a pay-per-view, but Great Balls of Fire was a hell of a good pay-per-view, so I'm giving it a chance. And really, the card itself, and we talked about this while we were watching the show, we agreed that this is the best looking takeover card that we've had since at least 2019, if not further back than that. This card looks exceptional already, and we're only, I believe, 3 matches in.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's really unbelievable how, and I will say too, like you said, NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day, like, why not just cut off the day and then you have NXT TakeOver Vengeance? Because I don't even feel like Vengeance is still like a main roster pay-per-view. I don't think it's been that for years, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't understand why you have to add the day on there, especially if you were going to do day. They should have done our idea of Valentine's Day TakeOver. But whatever. And yeah, so beyond that, though, the card does look solid. Really, the weakest match to me right now is Gargano Kushida, and that's only because of my personal dislike for Kushida. But even from an in-ring standpoint, that should be a pretty compelling contest. Yeah. So, yeah, good on NXT for really getting its head right for this. I'm curious how that's all going to shake out for them. So, with that said, let us get right into our first segment before our NXT review, Heat of the Night. I don't have any heats tonight, but I do have a nitpick. I really didn't care for the booking of Leon Ruff versus Austin Theory tonight. Yeah. It's not so much that Austin Theory won. I mean, I don't like him personally. I think he's a douche nozzle. I've been pretty public about that on the podcast. It's more that it doesn't make any sense. Because here's the thing. Ruff pulled an Eddie Guerrero, acted like Johnny punched him in the mouth. Why wasn't that a DQ for Austin Theory? Instead, Johnny Gargano just gets ejected and the match continues. I've always been of the belief, because we've seen it happen an innumerable number of times, that when you get physical on the outside trying to help somebody, that's a DQ for that person. So Leon Ruff, for all intents and purposes, seeing as how the ref bought Leon's story, should have just disqualified Theory. Maybe they would use the caveat of, oh, well, the ref didn't actually see it, and he's just going on Ruff's testimony, so the best he can do is ejection, but you have to physically see it to cause a DQ, which may be fair enough. I still have sour grapes, but then, for all of that to happen, just for Leon to still lose the match, to me, it's kind of a mixed bag, because on one hand, you do want Theory to be credible on his own, especially with his look and everything else. I mean, if you're going to market it right? But at the same time, it's like, well, then that was narratively pointless, but because it just didn't really amount to anything. So just as a nitpick, I really didn't care for the booking of Ruff versus Theory. Yeah. And at the moment, I don't think I have any other problems, although I think this would be the appropriate segment to get off my chest here, too. Cameron Grimes is returning next week, and I wish I could be more excited about that, but I did read the comments that he made, and I did say that if he didn't apologize, I really wouldn't feel comfortable kind of supporting him on the podcast, so I do kind of want to make that known here. I would really like to hear an apology from him, and if not, much like you talked about with me with Cross, and I was cool with that, I personally don't feel comfortable talking about Cameron Grimes, positively. And I hate it, because I do genuinely love his ring work, but there are things that are more important. So I do want to address that as well. He is returning next week, so we'll have to see how that goes. But I'm going to hand it over to you, bro. Do you have any nitpicks or heats of the night?
2. I have 2, and the degree, we'll talk about it, and we'll figure out the degree later. But first one, Raquel Gonzalez still sucks, and she kicked out of Casey Catanzaro's badass new finisher because she didn't think that Dakota would get there in time to break it up. And I just hate it.
Yeah, dude, I'm actually really glad you brought this up, because to be perfectly honest, I kind of blanked on this because I was so focused on my nitpick and really just addressing the Grimes situation. But you're right, man. Like, here's the thing. there are so many other ways you could have done this without just like outright burying the finish. And I think we do have to give Dakota a little bit here because I think she was late on her cue to break it up, which would have made everything fine.
Well, no. See, the thing is, though, she wasn't. Raquel just got fucking, like, panicked. Like, Dakota would have been able to break it up in time, like, before the ref's hand hit the ground. And even if she didn't, the ref still would have known this isn't the finish. He would have called it off. He would have been like, no, that was only two. That was only two. And it could have been an even more intense moment. And it would have made Casey's finisher look super legit. But because Raquel panicked, she kicked out and, it, like you said, buried the finisher.
Yeah, so, you know what? In light of that, I'll let you have this one. You know, sometimes I do like to give a bit of pushback just from perspective. But, you know, if that's how it went down, then, yeah, I really don't blame you at all. And really, I feel bad for Casey here because, like, that could have been such a big move for her just because it looks visually stunning. It really could have been, to her, what for Pac is the black arrow. Excuse me, I think it's Pac, right? For Pac is the black arrow that he calls it now. I haven't seen him do it in fucking ages, but it really does have that quality of like, oh shit. And I feel like it's already been taken from her and hasn't even been a month. So that really sucks. Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, and then the other thing is the way that Santos Escobar got basically bitched out right here by Karrion Kross. I don't like that. He told him, like, you know, run along, and he fucking did. I hate that.
Dude, I hated it too, only because everything prior to that was so good.
Yeah, everything prior to that was great. Escobar not being affected by fucking Kross just like plowing through his minions. I loved that. Him standing in the middle of the ring and standing up to Kross. I loved that. And then Kross tells him, oh, I'm going to give you the benefit of time and blah, 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 all that bullshit. And then he says, now run along, and he shooshes him with his hand. And Escobar just does it. I hated that so much.
Dude, since you're already broaching this subject, I know normally I don't like to stay on Heats of the Night or just, yeah, well, I mean, that's the name of our segment, for too long. But I really would like to just have this discussion now, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Like, because I was telling you, and that's why I'm pretty much repeating it here for our chat. Like, there's so much exciting stuff, exciting potential happening here. It just sucks that it begins with Karrion Kross because I love the idea, and I want to stress that word idea, of Santos being in the heavyweight division, or at least even if not in the division, mixing it up more with heavyweights. I also loved, again, how they made him look prior to the confrontation with Kross that he had to deal with a distraction, and he still retained his Cruiserweight Championship. Like, honestly, bro, and I could be wrong about this, I was wrong about other stuff, because as you already mentioned in your prior nitpick, Casey's finish got buried, and Casey and Caden got eliminated from the tournament tonight. I thought they were going to win the whole fucking thing. But after this defense by Escobar, I really do believe he's going to make a year. I think commentary even said he's at 264 days. I think he's going to make it to a year. I don't even know if this is going to culminate. This is just one theory. And potentially him versus Devlin for the undisputed Cruiserweight champion. Fuck that. Escobar is 100% my Cruiserweight champion. But yeah, I do think he's going to make a year after that defense because I really thought he was losing it tonight. I even said to you, oh, Scarlett's going to cost him the title. Didn't happen. I love it, though. I love that, like, to use your words, he practically wrestled a handicap match, and he still came out on top. And so a lot of good there. And I've said to you before that if you worked with heavyweights like a Bauer is what I constantly go back to, maybe because it was Javaris that first said, I would love to see Bauer versus Escobar. You know Bauer would be giving in the ring. You know he would be charitable and thoughtful in the promos and put him over and just, a selfless worker, to put it succinctly. With Kross, I'm not saying that Escobar won't get any offense. What I'm saying is even if he gets offense, none of it is going to matter.
Yeah.
Like, I really have a terrifying feeling, especially after this. This just made my fears more concrete, more understandable, because after this, where he's like, run along, I wanted Escobar to smirk in his goddamn face and say either, and slap him, and then maybe leave, because I can understand retreating to a point, that's heel tactic 101, but just do something. Either smirk and slap him. I think that's a great idea.
Rather than just fucking seethe in place and walk away.
Exactly. I would have loved for him to say, smirk and say, make me. And then when Kross goes to do something, then maybe you retreat and maybe just kind of still smile because it's like, made you react. I'm in your head. But just like, it's not so much the retreating it's just the complete lack of pushback prior to the retreat that really bothers me, because it's like, come on, man, you literally were looking up at Scarlett and smirking at her while you were wrestling a match, which I swear was the most boss shit I've seen in a minute. And then we have to lower your status, which shouldn't even be a fucking thing, for fucking Karrion Kross, who we've already talked about why we don't fucking like this dude. So yeah, it sucks, man, because I'm so excited about Escobar moving up competition-wise, and LDF, dude, with these vignettes and everything they give them before their matches, they feel so fucking legit, don't they? And, like, then this happens. And it just, like, I'm sorry for, like, going on a tangent, but I'm just really passionate about this.
No, dude, you don't need to apologize, really.
Yeah, because, like, I really like these guys. Even, fucking, oh, God, it's Mendoza. It's Joaquin, right? Joaquin Wilde, that's
Joaquin
it.
Wilde, yeah.
Even Joaquin Wilde, like, he works in this. It works for him. So I really like all three of these guys in this particular kind of arrangement. And when you make the leader, because he's very clearly the leader. This ain't no Undisputed Era babyface shit where it's like, there is no leader. Yes, there is, Cole. It was you the whole time. Don't fucking front. Escobar very clearly is comfortable and asserts himself as the leader. So when you treat the leader like that, then am I really supposed to be envious of the suits, the fine liquor, everything else, when at bottom you're a coward? Like, come on, that's such bad messaging, man. So yeah, I think I'm going to cut myself off here before I get redundant, but I'm just really glad you broached this subject, because I wanted to have this conversation anyway. And yeah, man, like, I mean, I don't know. You're the one that broached the subject, so what do you think this does for the credibility of LDF? Was I too harsh? Or...
Well, the thing is, Mendoza and Wilde already accepted that they were never going to be the best cruiserweights, which is already like a low-tier thing in WWE, and they accepted that by joining LDF as like the minions, basically, in the first place. So those guys getting obliterated by Cross, I have no problem with that. I'm cool with that. I would imagine Escobar would do the same thing to them. That's why they're so willingly beneath him in this faction, right? The problem will arise if/when Escobar looks like a bitch against Cross in their inevitable match.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. That's precisely the problem. I'm not even asking for him to beat Cross, but it would be really nice. And especially because I don't even like the idea that things have come so easily to Cross. Now, he hasn't been immediately put back in the NXT title picture, but, like, I don't know. Maybe make him just a bit more vulnerable, given that he did come back from an injury. I'm just really scared how they're going to play with this, especially because of the differences in weight class. Like, Damian Priest looked really competitive, to his credit, but they're in the same weight class. Are they just going to belittle Escobar because it's like, oh, he's a cruiserweight going against a heavyweight, and that heavyweight is Karrion Kross on top of it? I'm scared, man. I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to address?
No, I think that covers my issues with the show.
Okay, awesome. So let us get right into our NXT review. We open up, we see Raquel and Dakota coming out to the ring. Raquel and Dakota looking confident. Dakota says, last week was easy, and tonight's going to be a cakewalk. Thinking that they're going to make quick work of Casey and Caden, cut a screen promo, pretty much saying, again, they're going to win the whole thing. And they didn't. And we're not going to stay on this match too long because we did address it a good bit in the opening segment, Heat of the Night.
Yeah.
Raquel and Dakota do win. I do like that you and I, in talking with each other before the show, and by which I mean TWitWoW, we were kind of theorizing about what's going to happen with the Dakota-Raquel relationship, because I put forward to you the idea, because I find it interesting that Raquel's gotten the winning pin in both matches for her team, that she's just going to keep doing that. And then when they're presented the trophy, she's just going to, like, I don't know, maybe destroy it a la Christian with Edge and the King of the Ring and all that, and then just destroy Dakota, and then that's a severance. You had an idea that I also liked, which I don't want to count myself out, so I'll say it's equally viable, I would say, maybe even more viable if I'm honest, where they do win, they run the table, and then that's how they get called up to the main roster. So that, I think, is the most interesting thing to come out of this. But yeah, I mean, it's very clear to both of us that Raquel is the pet project, and they are going full fucking like this has such Rhea Ripley energy. Except to their credit, miraculously, Rhea still hasn't won the title yet. Or excuse me, Raquel still hasn't won the title yet. Yeah. But yeah, it really has Rhea Ripley energy to me, dude.
Well, to be fair, I want to say that there was a nice sized gap between Rhea debuting on NXT TV, like the US NXT TV, and her actually winning the title as well. Like I think there was like a 3-month gap there at least. So, you take the time that Raquel like really started getting pushed. Maybe we're another month or two away, and she'll fucking get it.
Yeah, that very well could be. So these guys advance, and we're gonna see who they face in the finals because next week because Shotzi and Ember are taking on Candice and Indy. Now I'm fully expecting Shotzi and Ember to win that, and I would hope that Shotzi would get the winning pin on Candice. So then it's like, oh man, I finally beat the woman that destroyed my tank forever ago. But we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, that matchup at Takeover, Raquel and Dakota versus Ember and Shotzi. Should be good. I don't mind Raquel nearly as much in tag matches, especially if she's going to be working these shorter bursts, although she did work a lot more tonight. It wasn't like a Kamea Aaliyah situation where she just obliterates them once she got the tag. Yeah. But yeah, we'll have to see how that goes down. We'll obviously be previewing that on February 13th, and that'll probably be at like an 8 p.m. time, so be on the lookout for that, guys. After this, we get a Toni Storm interview. Again, I know you're getting more attentive to like the vignettes, the talking segments, this and that. So what do you think about Toni's promo here?
Oh, I really only noticed that she called Mercedes Martinez dead weight. That was really the only note that I took about this interview. She just kind of had that attitude, Toni, it's Toni Storm. Her interviews aren't ever really interesting to me, but that specific line I caught and I wrote down, and it ended up paying off later in the night, so I'm glad I did.
Yeah, for sure, dude, for sure. All right, so moving on from that, we get Leon Ruff versus Austin Theory. Again, going to glide right on by that.
Just wanted to kind of insert in here, we did see Edge backstage chatting with Regal before this.
Yes, that is a fair point, yes. So we know that Edge is here, and he's going to, make a splash on the show. So Leon Ruff versus Austin Theory. Already talked about, my problems with it. Austin Theory wins after the Austin Theory launched the ATL. I would think the original name of it, the TKO, is superior. Stop being such a douche nozzle. But then we get something fascinating.
Yeah, this was really weird.
Okay, so I'm not gonna front. I did watch this. It was difficult at times to get all of it because I know you had your own volume going on and everything. But here's the thing: you watched this, I think, quite a few times to catch everything, and I'm willing to bet you took more extensive notes on this than me. So if you don't mind, I'm going to defer to you on this, and then I'm just going to kind of react and give my own thoughts. So what did you think about this?
I'm going to sit up. I'm going to do my movie trailer voice. You ready?
All
right, here we go. Now, the name that we saw before the vignette started was Tian Sha, all right?
Yes.
Back in time, before the dynasties existed, the land of Xinjiang was ruled by an honorable king. He had 2 children, an older son and a younger daughter. Corrupted by greed, the son killed his father, the king. The son took power of the throne, ruled with an iron fist, and brought dishonor to the family. The daughter lived in fear and fled into exile. In exile, she found a dragon and asked the dragon to teach her. Give her strength to restore honor to the kingdom. The dragon agreed to teach her, but it would cost Mei Ying her soul. The dragon put her through 4 grueling trials to purge her fear, replace her fear with power, be reborn as a warrior to fear without weaknesses, and finally, teach her to ascend to the throne. Mei Ying destroyed her brother and returned honor to her family. After succeeding, Mei Ying realized she would have to become the one thing she despised. She would have to instill fear in others, and people feared the name Tian Sha for generations to come.
Okay, so here's the first of all, great job. I don't want to undersell that. Secondly, though, here's where it gets really interesting to me because again, I caught most of that, I got to give credit to Beth Phoenix here, something I never thought I'd say. I got no problem with Beth personally. I don't really care for her own
She needs to learn how to
commentary.
pronounce Champa, goddammit.
Yeah, dude, I keep telling you that is never going to happen because I heard your complaints about it tonight, and I'm like, dude, let it go. It's never going to happen.
It was even worse tonight because Alicia Taylor mispronounced it, and she said it correctly before. What the hell?
Because other people mispronounce
people to say it wrong.
Well, because other people mispronouncing it around her and other people that pronounce it correctly pollutes the ecosystem, thus compromising everybody. It's
you know what,
it's
John?
never going to happen.
Fuck the ecosystem.
Well, we're in agreement, but I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, getting back on track, fucking Beth really put this in perspective when she's like, "Wait, do you mean to tell me that this woman's like thousands of years old?" So, like, low key, WWE's trying to have some of that Lucha Underground energy to me.
Yep.
And you already know where I'm at this stage of my wrestling fandom. Started in 2002. Now we're in 2021. God help us. And I've definitely gravitated more towards the character-driven type people.
Right.
And given the nature of this character,
we should probably clarify that the woman that they're talking about here is like the fucking voodoo queen lady that has been training Xia Li and Boa. Exactly.
So, if they ever plan on having this woman wrestle, which, I mean, come on, they have to, right? Mm-hmm. It's WWE. You never do this kind of table setting and stuff unless you're expecting an in-ring product at the end of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something really controversial here that I know immediately isn't going to age well. Even by like tomorrow morning, I'll look back and I'll be like, "You really said that?" With a character like this character, and I really want to stress this part, this character, because being trained by a fucking dragon and living for thousands of years, should have an undefeated streak comparable to Asuka.
Yes.
Like honestly. Again, I'm sure for a lot of people this is not going to age well at all, and I don't even blame you, but you can't tell me those things without me thinking that this woman should easily be on the fast track to greatest women's wrestler of all time. Again, as a character.
Right.
I really want to stress that. So
I would say maybe drop the greatest and just say like most dominant.
Yeah, most dominant. Well, easily most dominant. Like,
yeah, like if you were trained by a dragon, if you don't show up and win the title within months, that's a failure of booking.
Yeah, because there's an incongruity then between the characters you're presenting it and like the lived reality of
let's be real,
character.
it's some Bray Wyatt shit.
Exactly. Like, I don't want to see this woman when she finally does compete take an L for a long fucking time. In fact, if she's good in the ring, which, God, dude, what a fucking bonus if we got that, right?
I know, dude. Like, I'm even sitting here thinking, like, who could it possibly be? Because, like, this is a very Chinese-based gimmick, so I don't think it would be, like, a Mako, because she's Japanese. So, like,
yeah.
I really don't know. I don't know. Is Karen Q Japanese or is she Chinese?
I always thought Karen Q was Chinese.
She is, dude, if it's Karen Q, we know she can go. I mean, she's not like a Mako type performer in the ring, but she can go. Like, that's huge.
Dude, if she can go and at the very least be competent to compelling when it really matters, you realize the fucking money. If you'd want to take this gimmick to the character, I keep coming back to that word character, to the main roster. I know Asuka's no longer undefeated, but you give Asuka something to do and she's like fucking, she's God tier to me. Fucking Asuka versus this woman. Fucking Sasha Banks versus, again, we'll say Karen Q, if that's who it is. Karen Q. With this character, and we need more characters, God only knows, I think has so much potential. And I love that this character, because see, this is what I wanted for not this particular character, but just a character period, for Chelsea Green. Because I feel like she really is so good when she has a character to work with and isn't just like another cocky, competent women's wrestler. And my heart breaks for her because she hasn't caught a break.
Right, well, she caught a break of the wrist.
That seems like such a me thing to do, because I remember when we did that one Stardom Live reaction, and you're just like, I don't know what wrestler it was even about. She isn't going to stand for this. And I'm just like, no, she's going to sit for it. Because it was like Natsuko doing the Hazuki face wash. And you were just like, oh. And I got those exact vibes. Like, God damn it, dude. So So I guess we both have it in us, huh?
Of course. I think we all do.
I love that, like, women's wrestling in particular gets a character like this.
Yep.
I really do, because you have the 4 horsewomen, well, 3 and one that should be just taken out behind the barn, but that's neither here nor there. And, you know, they're really good
3
in the ring.
3 horsewomen and the jackass.
Exactly. Wow, that was almost, you know, Cameron Grimes-esque there a little bit. That laugh was great. But, you know, they're always about, like, the in-ring and this and that, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But
That's
I
how
love...
I like it.
Yeah. But I do love that we've got people that just have really interesting characters, too. Because, like, yeah, even you could say Becky had a character, you know, being the man and stuff, but when I'm talking character, I'm talking, like, thing that you're clearly not when the lights are off.
Yes.
Like Becky being the top woman, you know, it's like, yeah, well, of course you are. That's pretty much the gimmick, is like, I'm the top woman, which that's not a gimmick. That's just your status.
That's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly. This is a character because you know Karen Q, if that is who this is, wasn't trained by a fucking dragon. So, like, it's cool that, you know, women's wrestling actually gets a legitimate fucking character.
Man. I don't know. You just never know anymore.
Yeah, I guess, but like
everything's unprecedented these days. Who's to say she wasn't trained by a dragon?
I mean,
what if she was trained by Daniel Bryan, the American Dragon?
Oh, no, that's splitting hairs, but I feel like Bryan, you know, he's got whatever. But yeah, you know, it's really nice. It's really nice that, like, they can have that pro wrestling carny shit too, and I mean that in the most endearing way.
Yes.
Because now it really feels like equality to me when you can give a woman's wrestler a character like this.
Yeah, you can have the Undertaker. Fuck you. Give us Tian Sha.
Exact. Yes. Actually, that's the perfect somebody. If you have nothing else to add, I'd love to close on that.
Go.
That was great. Awesome. Fucking sweet. We get LDF versus LHP, and god damn, man, Grand Metalik just continues to just...
He's insane.
He's so good. Like, I almost... Is he hideous? Like, I want to, like... I know,
oh my god.
Please, after, like, oh, she caught a break of the wrist, I'm owed this one, okay? Now I used up my card. Let's see here. Grand Metalik... Oh, I love that the result's actually Grand Metalik face. Not bad, I guess. I don't know. I you know, because I'm just thinking, like, if he unmasked and just turned heel.
I'm waiting for you to just come out with, I'd fuck him.
No, I mean, I do have low standards, but, like, no, I can't get the best visual, so. And, like, wow. The best visual that they have for him is like a fucking when you go to like a WWE 2K game and you can edit the attire and the layers and you remove the mask. So they've got like a digital render, but this dude's actually been really good about not being photographed without a mask. Holy shit. I actually have a whole new respect for him now because way to keep kayfabe alive. Holy shit.
Do you know what's kind of wild to think about is that he teams with Lince Dorado and he used to be Mascara Dorada.
Ooh, that's some layered shit. But yeah, just to make the point, because I was gonna say, like, oh, why is he even in this tag team? Because, like, I don't even hate Lindsay. I have memories of him in Force 1 and stuff. But, like, I'm sorry, fam. I always got to keep it 100 on the podcast. Grand Metalik's on another level. He might even be the best worker of the 3, because we haven't even seen Kalisto in a minute. The last time we saw him wasn't that weird Sasha. Yeah. I miss him in the ring, too, because he did that weird segment with Sasha where you were like, it was weird seeing her be all sensual and seductive and shit with Reginald. Kalisto had given her a hug before that. That's literally all we've seen of Kalisto.
We also know, too, that those two are actual close friends. Kalisto and Sasha. I mean, they're families. Like, Kalisto and his wife and Sasha and Mikaze, they're, like, all really good fans, like, friends with each other.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking sweet, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Javaris, that's pretty much the mood, bro. Like, Metalik is insane. Yeah. I'm like, dude, this tag team is beneath you. I'm sorry. Like, I just got to be real.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he was the one that got the Cruiserweight title shot just like a couple weeks ago, I feel like.
Yeah, and then that's the energy NXT needs to keep. Again, if he isn't an Uggo, he needs to, like, unmask and join LDF to me. You know, maybe kick Joaquin Wilde out. He had a good run. You know.
I genuinely think he'd rather go back to New Japan than unmask.
I believe you. And you know what, again, in all sincerity, I genuinely respect that. But yeah, this was a fun match, and I think it put over LDF in a big way, and I got to give LHP credit for that. They returned to NXT confronting LDF, and they've done nothing but put them over since.
Yep.
Because, like, you know, Escobar beat Metalik, which was fair enough. We all expected it. I honestly didn't know if Joaquin Wilde and Mendoza were going to win the tag match. I mean, what about you? Were you pretty confident they were going to advance, or do you think LHP had a shot here?
No, yeah, I thought it could go either way here.
Yeah, so, like, the idea that they put him over twice, really commendable. Really commendable. And I love the double team finish, the side Russian leg sweep, and, you know, the kick to the face. And, yeah, MSK versus LDF is going to be fucking legit. I love these 3-letter teams and just everything going on.
What did you think of MSK's little promo after this match?
You know, I'm actually really glad we finally get to talk about this, but I feel like I've done a lot of talking for this little bit. So what did you think about the promo before I answer?
My literal words in the notes were MSK cut a promo just talking shit and building themselves up, and their new catchphrase is, "'Cause it's MSK all night and all day. Works for me." And I thought, like, yeah, the promo was aight. It was a little weird. You had, like, Zachary Wentz, like, speaking the way that he was, but other than that, it was fine.
Yeah, you know, okay, so now that you've given your thoughts, I feel more comfortable giving mine because I don't want to monopolize the discussion here.
Can I monopolize your face?
All day, every day. That brief, yeah, the energy just completely shifted. That brief stint where we covered Impact on Twitch, we got to really see just those guys cut promos and, you know, the whole That 70s Show aesthetic.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, I never really cared for them. I didn't really care for this, but I do think they stuck the landing with the catchphrase. Because it's not even that, like, I'm enamored with the catchphrase, but, like, you want something that people are going to remember and maybe even quote back.
And honestly, dude, my thing is, what I realized with this promo is that Wentz is only just kind of okay and a little awkward on the mic. Dez can fucking talk.
Yeah.
Or I guess say Wes can fucking talk. Dude, he's a better promo than a lot of main roster guys right now. Like, we always compare him to Ricochet. His promo skills blow Ricochet out of the fucking water.
Bro, and you know what's so great about, like, what you just said is that, like, it's a guy that's actually a part of the system that's going to, like, show up every week, and not somebody like Pat McAfee just embarrassing the fuck out of everybody.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice that you've got, like, a really competent promo, particularly in the undercard. You know, that can, you know, talk like that.
Like, that was my biggest takeaway here. Like, other than just, like, yeah, the catchphrase works. It's cool. It's not, like, blow me away amazing like some of the shit that Enzo used to spit, but it's good for what it needs to be. My next biggest takeaway after that, though, was, like, Wesley can actually talk, like, for real work.
Yeah. Dude, no fucking doubt about that. So
you agree with me that he's a good talker?
Yeah, I would say so. I would absolutely say so. Yeah, I think you're spot on there.
I forget, what is Wentz's new name? I know
Nash Carter.
Nash Carter. Okay, yeah, thank you. Man, yeah. That's
welcome, buddy.
Tough one for me to remember, I think. But yeah, Wesley is a hell of a lot easier because it's literally just Wesley turned into two names.
Yeah. So that matchup, LDF versus MSK, I'm fucking here for it, man.
Legitimately, both of the finals matches, or actually, I shouldn't even say both. All of the finals matches in both Dusty Classics are great.
Yeah.
Like the two semifinal matches in the men's, the one semifinal match that we have left in the women's, and then whatever the finals match ends up actually being, I'm looking forward to all of it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. These Dusty Classics have been pretty entertaining, and I'm still hoping for, you know, decent winners. I'm beginning to think we won't get it for the women's. Nothing against Dakota. That's all on Raquel.
The closest thing, though, to a thrown together team that's still alive is Thatcher and Ciampa, and I really. Even if they would win, I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with it because of how well built their teaming up was.
Yeah, it really was a part of a broader narrative.
Yeah, because so like we say thrown together, but realistically, they weren't like out of nowhere thrown together. They were built to being a team.
Yeah, so I definitely have to give NXT credit for that. You know, it wasn't just like, hey, you guys look really tough and menacing. Why don't you team up? No, there was actually a story at play here.
Yep.
So going to be very interesting to see how that all shakes out. Moving on, however, for the brand to arrive at the arena, God, without McAfee, I know I keep saying it, guys.
No,
like,
dude, seriously, I had the exact same thought. Literally, when they came out and there was no McAfee, I was like, well, shit, I don't really give a shit now.
Yeah. I know we said in reviews going forward we would, maybe not try and be so redundant on things, but I just can't help but say every time I miss Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee makes for the brand relevant.
He does. Their segment after the fact, Pete Dunne more or less calls out Finn Balor. Balor obliges, says, "Oh, you seem really tough when you've got."
Speaking of making things relevant, holy shit, this segment.
Oh, I'm going to pass the ball to you in a second, bud, because I know we're pretty enthused about this. Balor says, why don't you send your boys away, if you're that tough. He does, actually. He's like, Oni, Danny, I'm good here. And he more or less says to Finn, I kept telling you, like, I want my shot. You've got to face me, sooner or later. And Finn's like, well, you're getting your shot. NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day. God, I still hate that name.
We're going to complain about it all the way there.
Yeah. It's going to be Finn and Dunne one-on-one for the NXT Championship. And then the match goes from, this should be a really good match between two solid in-ring workers to very interesting because Edge shows up. And now I'm going to pass the baton to you, bud. What did you think about Edge's work here?
Edge, this was the first time since he returned at the Royal Rumble last year that I've really fully accepted, embraced, and realized how much I missed Edge. Because this was the first time that I really felt that, like, holy shit, this is the Edge that we've not had in, like, a decade at this point. But, 9 years of that, whatever. But, like, the way that he just immediately gets to putting both of these guys over, he puts Finn over, and he even uses his words in such a way that he says things in ways that I couldn't think to say them that eloquently, because the way that he put Finn over as something really special, and the way that Finn really is just in the zone right now, like, I fully agreed with his sentiment, and he said it in a way that I never would have thought to say, and in a more eloquent and succinct way than I ever would have thought to say. So, huge props to Edge on that. He puts over Dunne by basically comparing him to himself, because he puts Dunne over, tells him he's the future, and Dunne does the shrug thing, and Edge is just like, oh yeah, I would have shrugged just like that about 10 years ago, kid. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, you mean 20, Edge?
But, yeah, that is true.
But yeah, like, you can even go into the Discord, into the live wrestling discussion channel, and you'll see I'm, like, freaking out, talking about, like, fuck, I missed Edge so goddamn much. He's so good. Like, there was one line that I put in there. Let me find it, actually. All caps. I said, I know he's old, but I just fucking love Edge so goddamn much I missed him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Edge, like, I don't know. It's really weird that he won the Royal Rumble, because I feel like he's Edge. He didn't need to win the Royal Rumble to be in contention, but at the end of the day, I'm very excited for him to kind of do the old, like, Royal Rumble winner tour of the brands. I'm excited about it. I'm expecting him to still go with Roman, but even the possibility of him going against Finn has me all kinds of excited.
Yeah, man, definitely. I mean, look, we know that Edge ultimately isn't going to go against Finn. However, this does open the door for Edge to work NXT in the future, possibly. I mean, if WWE can craft a narrative as to why, they certainly are capable of doing so. But I will say that just this one promo, you would have thought that NXT was still as good as it was even a few years ago when it was like the talk of the fucking town. He really put over the brand here, and man, like, Finn's been an outstanding champion. Let's not, mince words. I think he carries himself so well. He has that air of credibility. Nothing against Finn, but fuck me, did Edge put that title over? Yeah, like he really made it seem like, coming from Edge, who I think is like what a 12-time world champion. Yeah, I was
gonna say, when Edge retired, the big tagline was that he was the most decorated WWE superstar of all time.
And for him to build up the NXT Championship, like, I've never had that. And that's intriguing. Yeah. Like, I loved the
And that's the word that he kept using, too, was intriguing.
Yeah. Like, he's just intrigued about what he could do in NXT. Why? Because NXT, to me, just going to go a little bit beyond Edge's promo, is emblematic of what Edge wanted to do when he came back. Like, I bet if you talk to Edge backstage or you got him in like a shoot scenario, so to speak, he would say, like, I had no problem working with Randy, but I was hoping it would be a one pay-per-view thing. The idea that it got dragged out as much as it did, and they spent so much time together, when we have to remember this is a 3-year deal that Edge is operating under.
Yep.
Even though I do think they freeze time for injury or whatever. I don't know how Edge's contract works. I don't know the details. I don't care to know the details.
I think you might be right. I hope you're right, frankly. I mean, in this one instance, I hope you're right, but, you know, it's still like a really toxic way to handle business most of the time.
Oh, absolutely. So, you know, the way I kind of see it is like, yeah, he wanted to face all these guys. He wanted to face the future and put over the future. NXT's whole tagline is that, like, yeah, this is the next generation of WWE superstars. So I know it's not going to happen. I don't think it should happen because, again, Edge's whole thing is ending the career on my terms, and he absolutely has earned the fucking right to do that as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But idealistically, if things weren't so fucking, you know, haywire and stuff, and he didn't have the big gap, you know, all those years and everything, I would love for him to, like, kind of do a retirement tour, like, in NXT, putting over the guys he wants to put over. Because I just feel like, just as a storyteller, because I was even seeing people, I want to address this too, I was even seeing people saying, like, with Edge's exclusive comments after winning the Rumble on WWE's channel, oh, you know, it's not going to be a good match. He's 47 years old. He can't, you know, move the way he used to, this and that. And, like, that may all be true and valid.
I'm sorry, at what point was Edge known as, like, this elite athlete, high-flying type? What?
Yeah. I mean, that, first of all, is 100% valid. Second of all, Edge is still such a great storyteller and promo. None of that's even going to matter.
Yeah.
Like, this dude's got some... I used to always hear that about, like, Terry Funk, right? Because he was always, like, the hardcore guy. So, of course, you know, you just got to bump and, you know, massacre yourself. But, like, he was always a great promo and this and that. Edge has got that, like, grizzled vet energy where it's like, yeah, I'm going to cut these promos. I'm going to make this guy, this guy, this guy. So who gives a fuck? Like, him talking about Balor the way he did, to recourse back to a point you made earlier, gave me goosebumps, dude. Because I'm like, holy fuck. Edge has made Balor feel more relevant than Balor has felt, even holding the NXT title, to me, in years. Like, maybe even since his whole big Raw debut where he beat Roman Reigns the same fucking night. He really made it seem like, yeah, you're dangerous. You're, again, to take the words out of his mouth, you're on a whole other level right now. And like you said, I could hear you enthusiastically. I was smiling. You're like, yeah, he is, Edge. Yeah, he is. It was a great promo. Easily the highlight of the night for me, seeing Edge interact with these guys.
I completely agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So after that, we get a Johnny Gargano interview. What did you think about Johnny's antics here?
This is hilarious. Admittedly, I did actually miss the segment that he had literally just on the other side of the commercial with Kushida. I know he interacted with Kushida, but I didn't see the whole thing. But basically, the interview informed him that he's defending the North American Championship, a takeover against Kushida. Gargano freaks out, says, "You said the K word. What's your problem? Who are you? Who do you think you are? What's your name? Are you even real?" He was like freaking out. And he basically says, like, "We're going to go talk to Regal." And then he tells the cameraman, "You come too. We're going to go watch her get fired." Oh, such great energy. Gargano's hilarious right now. He's in a different kind of zone than Finn. Finn is in that zone where he makes everything feel important. Gargano is in a zone where, like, everything he touches turns to comedy gold.
Yeah, bro, like, I'm telling you, Johnny's worked his way back into my good graces as far as I'm concerned. I'm enjoying the dude's heel run. He's fucking hilarious. I mean, your laughter was a better review of this segment than I could give with mere words. So we'll move on from this and just go to the follow-up of they arrive at the office, knock at the door. Kushida answers. They get into a skirmish, which ends with Kushida kicking Johnny in the arm and selling it like he had been shot. Because he's just holding the arm. He's like, God. But we know Kushida wants the North American Championship, and that match is happening again at TakeOver. So, interesting build. Johnny being more of a comedy heel wrestler that can actually go in the ring is such a beautiful synthesis that I never even knew that I wanted. But it's really working out for me. It's really doing it for me. So, after that, we get Jessie Kamea versus Toni Storm. Not really much of a match, but I will say that what we saw from Jessie, I really liked. I really feel like the more time she spends, honing her in-ring stuff, she could really be something, man. She's really starting to turn a corner with me. I'm really starting to like her and look at her differently. Mm-hmm. But then Mercedes comes in, and we get a little skirmish there between her and Tony.
Well, and I appreciate too that her entrance was like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of Tony, but then like Jessie randomly decides that she's gonna be a fucking hero today, and she tries to stand up to Mercedes, and she goes after her. But the thing that I appreciate about this is technically Jessie Kamea won this match because of the fact that Mercedes attacked her first.
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah, so good for Jessie, I guess.
Yeah.
I will say though, I'm not ready to call this a nitpick yet. But I have noticed the past, I think 2 weeks, it may be fair to say, Robert Stone's become a lot more restrained, and I don't like it. He hasn't been very animated, or like even like I.
Wait, was Robert Stone at ringside here?
He was at ringside here because remember.
Wow, I wasn't even aware. Holy shit.
Well, that just proves my point.
Yeah, that's I'm kind of trying to supplement your point. Yeah, like what the hell? Why did I not know? Why did I not know that Robert Stone was at ringside here? What the hell?
Because Jessie's with the Robert Stone brand, but like,
I didn't know that either. I knew that she teamed up with Aaliyah, but I didn't know that they were that she was also in the brand.
Yes, she is, and yet you wouldn't know it because they haven't given Robert Stone any talking time to put her over. I would have killed for him to have an interaction with Mercedes, which let's remember. Mercedes, originally, when she was going to be a part of the whole Retribution thing before coming back to NXT, their relationship ended when Robert Stone served her a restraining order.
Yeah.
I would have loved for him to freak out and be like, yo, remember the restraining order, and Mercedes maybe not give a fuck. They're not letting Robert... Now, again, I don't know if this is intentional. That's why I said I didn't even want to complain about it in the first segment. But I did want to point out the last 2 times now we've seen Robert Stone on TV. It's just something's off, man. They're not letting him be the character that I know you and I both fucking adore and just bust a gut laughing with. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why you can't have him be a character, because I know Malcolm Bivens is showing more personality. Like, why can't we just have great managers? Why does it have to be like a one-at-a-time kind of thing? And not just managers. How many times have we talked about that over the years of WWE? You can only make 1 star at a time. Fuck that. If you can make them. Mass-produce that shit. So I don't like it. I don't like how restrained he is, and I did want to point that out just in case we keep seeing that happen.
No, dude, I'm really glad that you pointed that out, because it was something that I didn't even notice, so I would have let it go completely unnoticed. So I'm really glad that you did say something, because now I'm going to be on the lookout for it in the future if we get any more Aaliyah or Jessica Mia matches in the near future.
Yeah, please do, because I know you and I both, and again, that's why I'm not coming down super hard, because again, it's only been, the second time.
Right.
But if we start to get 3, 4, and then 5, I'm going to have to say, like, what the fuck did you do to this man? Like,
it's going to start to feel a lot like Rick Boogs all over again, isn't it?
It really is. Like, please don't keep the character to Twitter. Please, for the love of fuck, don't keep it to tweets, because that is not nearly enough.
No.
And you should fucking know that. So, yeah, we get a skirmish here. But to kind of pass the ball over to you, our NXT Women's Champion, and I know your personal favorite, Io Shirai, definitely proving to be the most intelligent champion of the bunch.
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, I don't know about most intelligent, because she did just kind of fling herself into a pile of bodies. But, yeah, once Tony and Mercedes take each other out, she heads to the ring. They end up on the outside somehow. I'm not exactly sure what happened to cause that. But she says, all right, cool, fuck it. And she does a moonsault onto both of them.
Yeah, that's really where I got the intelligent part, is that, like, before she just perched on the top turnbuckle, just watching it unfold. I was half expecting Mercedes and Tony to just kind of both look in the same direction and see her, and then maybe she does a cross body or something. Yeah. That didn't happen, obviously.
No, yeah. Somehow they ended up on the outside of the ring completely.
Yeah. So, solid build-up for the women's triple threat. Again, I would still prefer Io versus Mercedes one-on-one, but, I'm thinking it'll have good energy to it. Should be a fun title defense for Io.
Yeah.
After that, we get Kurt Stallion talking about his title match with Escobar. And
dude, Kurt Stallion gives me such Matthew McConaughey vibes. What? Not even looks, just the vibes.
Yeah, the diction and everything else. Like, just, he emanates that McConaughey energy.
I'm waiting for him to be like, you know why I love NXT, man? It's because I keep getting older and they stay the same age.
Oh, my God. But, yeah, just talking about his title match, hoping to win tonight. The Lone Star looking to become a superstar and the next Cruiserweight champion. So then, after that, we again get the announcement camera for next week. I already addressed that, for my side of things. Then we get Stallion versus Escobar for the title. Already kind of talked about this in the first segment. Solid matchup. Escobar retains, and then all the stuff with Karrion Kross. Fuck him. Furthering that Karrion Kross fuck him energy.
I was honestly a little bit disappointed by that match too. I was expecting a lot more from Escobar Stallion than we got.
I was too, man. I was too, but you know what? Maybe we should have known our expectations were too high the moment they had Scarlett have her presence be there.
Yeah, I wonder if that is really what tempered the pace of the match, because it had to become more about her and more about Escobar emoting in her general direction to kind of sell that story rather than the match being good.
Which, kudos to Escobar. I mean, he did his job, with that being his job, very well. But it's actually a perfect symbol of what's to come of the Cruiserweight division. The moment Karrion Kross gets involved, none of you matter.
Pretty much.
Fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Fucking hated this too. Edge goes out, he sees Kross. Kross tries to intimidate him, and really, I was even looking at it I've seen this man trip over Vicky Guerrero while still in a wheelchair and do concertos to the fucking Undertaker. You ain't shit. I'm sorry. You can't. You can't. He was pumping his chest out
I mean, haven't we literally seen this man spear the Undertaker through a flaming table?
That was Mick Foley, I think.
Oh.
But we've seen him spear the Undertaker through a Hell in a Cell and just fucking break the damn thing.
Sure,
yeah. So, this dude don't give a fuck. This dude, honestly, and this is going outside the realm of kayfabe, so even though we don't like Kross, it is unfair to hold this against him. But this is a dude that more or less said in an interview, what made me decide to come back? Well, I was, fucking mountain biking, and, my bike tipped over, and, I fell, and I crashed hard, and I'm like, oh, I actually feel pretty good. Maybe I can wrestle again. This dude don't give a fuck. You're trying to puff your chest out and be like, time runs out for everybody, including the ultimate opportunist. I'm like, bitch, nobody knows that more than him. He gave up 9 years of his career, and he's cherishing his time.
Yeah, take it. God, why you gotta be so fucking try-hard, Kross? Christ.
God, yeah, why don't you go to a fucking Hot Topic and fucking mope that you're no longer NXT champion? Jesus Christ.
I'll show them. I'll show all of them. They'll see.
Dude. No, you know what? Never mind. Okay. Moving on from that. That was really funny, and I'm gonna be honest, that was just the kind of energy right before the manifesto gets typed up. Karrion Kross just nobody emasculates me like that. Nobody emasculates me like that. Yeah, well, Edge fucking did, so move along. Because Edge even said, talk like that could actually make me come back here, so something to think about. Yeah. Fuck him. Then we get UE versus Ciampa. Yeah. I thought you said something. Did you want to say something?
I said main event.
Main event, yep. UE versus Ciampa Thatcher. I'm going to be honest, everybody. I really didn't care about this. I was kind of meh about it. I don't even know if it's...
Do you know who the star of this match was to me?
To me, it was Thatcher. Who was it for you?
Roderick Strong.
Nice.
Dude, his flurries of offense blow me the fuck away. I think Roderick Strong has perpetually just had the best hot tag in wrestling for the last 15 fucking years.
Yeah, dude. I will say, as an in-ring competitor specifically, his staying power is fucking ridiculous.
It is. He's so good. He's min-maxed to be just the best wrestler possible without being obnoxiously flippy or having bad psychology, but also just no personality at all.
Yeah.
His personality is he's got a family.
Yeah. Sadly, the most entertaining I found him on that front in NXT was his fear of trunks. And that's really something. That's really something. But yeah, solid back and forth, I guess. Willow's Bell gets the win for this team. I guess
immediately after Roderick Strong just absolutely obliterates Thatcher on the outside.
Yeah.
With a jumping knee.
Yeah, he did. Again, Energizer Bunny of pro wrestling, man. We've been saying it for years.
Yep.
Thatcher, Ciampa win. They stare at the trophy. And then, in my mind, the people that I'm rooting for to win, Grizzled Young Vets, which I will say, too, I should give a positive about this, even though I've been kind of blasé about the main event. I'm happy Undisputed Era lost. I wish it wasn't to Ciampa Thatcher, because I am worried that they're going to win the whole thing, and I really want GYV to win, or MSK, if the champions really are going to be Lorcan and Birch, and, whatever. I really wanted that GYV face run. But yeah, like I am happy that it's not UE because I was really tired of Undisputed Era versus For the Brand, especially if McAfee's not involved.
Well, hey, there you go. That's one positive to come out of this is that Undisputed Era are definitely not winning the Dusty Classic this year.
Yeah. So, like, finally, that dominant run that they're always talking about going on, like, well, you're going to have to find a way to do it somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe on the main roster. I don't know.
I don't know.
But,
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just a guy. I don't know. But yeah, GYV confronting Ciampa and Thatcher, and of course the Boomer takes the first fucking shot. Because, GYV is just like, oh, that trophy is going to be yours, it's going to be ours. Typical trash-talking shit. And Ciampa, who may have finally gone senile, I don't know, is like, well, fuck you, and he palms Zach Gibson in the mouth. Like,
what is wrong with you, Tommaso? The contract isn't even signed yet. Are you dying of dementia?
Like, where was that from again?
Rick and Morty.
Oh my god, yes.
The fucking VAT episode.
God, I guess Ciampa, because, he's a real man, he just realized that the Clouds weren't competitive enough because they don't fight back and all his yelling, so he just wanted to pick a fight with somebody. But yeah.
His character is so awful, and I feel like it represents his real personality way more than I would love to admit.
I know. It really disappoints me. God, I was really horny for that scalp for so long, and I have such remorse. I'm like, no, my penis has betrayed me, which, I mean, is definitely a running theme of my life, but shit, this is definitely...
Imagine how Collins feels.
God, you hear that? You hear that? That's me scraping the bottom of the barrel. Jesus Christ.
God. Is that a coin on your desk?
No, that was the cap of a pen rubbing against my desk. I wanted to simulate some effect. I know you guys aren't fancy. You don't give a fuck. So...
Is this good scraping the bottom of the barrel sound?
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, that was me with this motherfucker old ass. Fucking picking a fight with Zach Gibson, the superior scalp in this whole fucking thing going on here.
Plus, I mean, let's be real. You can compare scalps all you want, but the best head of hair in this match is James Drake by far.
Yes, absolutely.
Motherfucker got a mane.
Yeah, he does. He really does. And soon he'll have that Dusty Classic trophy, because fuck you, Ciampa. So, yeah, that
I really hope it comes down to them in MSK. GYV, MSK, let's fucking go. Yeah, there it is. GYV, MSK, LFG.
I will say, if that's a Dusty Classic final, I might have been wrong in saying that KO Roman would have been the first installment for Match of the Year, because I fucking love that match, but Paul Heyman really tanked the momentum of it and took me out of it. So GYV versus MSK could really be WWE's first installment for Match of the Year contender. I have high hopes for those two teams.
MSK LDF might be up there too.
Yeah, that's true. If you give it time, fuck yeah. So yeah, that was NXT. Moving on to our next segment, high spots and low shots.
Can we start calling the team of Ciampa and Thatcher OAGs?
Which stands for what?
Old ass grandpas.
How old is Thatcher?
Oh no, I just mean like personality wise.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Plus, I think Thatcher is in his late 30s anyway, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he's only like 33.
It's not bad.
Let me look. Tim Thatcher is 37. Wow, okay, he is 37.
Oh god, I typed in Thatcher to Google and it was Margaret Thatcher, and she's so old she's dead. Well, after that, let's get to our next segment.
Thatcher's actually older than Ciampa by a couple years. You would never know.
Oh god, that's...
You didn't look that up. That would be like, there's no way. Ciampa is like 50.
Yeah. That's really something.
Actually, better idea, OAC. Old ass curmudgeons. That's even better.
Yeah, that works. That definitely works. All right. High spots, low shots. My low shot, I'm going to say, let's see, who do I have to pick from? You know what? Johnny Gargano. He hates the word Kushida, and with good reason, given that man's history. And now he's got to defend the title against him at NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day.
Which is in like 11 days.
Yeah, and he ends his confrontation with Kushida by getting kicked in the arm and selling it like a bullet wound. So his chances are looking great. He's looking really good right now. Oh, and also he got faked out by Leon Ruff and even roughed up by him a little bit in that matchup. So it was just a
roughed up by him. Don't think I didn't see what you did there. I saw it, John. I saw it. Transparent as hell, bruh.
And we're all really proud of you. So yeah, it was a bad day for Gargano, to say the least. Who's your low shot?
My low shot is Toni Storm, because she got her ass beat by Mercedes Martinez. She got moonsaulted onto by Io Shirai. And all of this taken into account, she lost to Jessica Mea.
Yeah, that is true. For all intents and purposes, I mean, NXT might have forgotten what the rules of a wrestling match are, but we haven't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Jesse gets the win. High spot for me, it's really easy. I don't like how his confrontation with Cross ended, but I'm going to say fucking Escobar. Nice. His fucking faction dominated tonight. Now, I know he had nothing to do with the tag match, but I mean, he is the leader. When they look good, he looks good. And he retained his Cruiserweight Championship in spite of distractions from Scarlett. So, yeah, he's fucking on his king shit. And I can't even blame him for like backing away from Cross, because obviously he's the priority booking wise. I'm still going to give him love here on this podcast. Santos Escobar. Oh, God. All right. Who's your high spot?
Honorable high spot is the sad one, the one that I'm angry about, the one that I'm, it's like heat of the night material. Raquel Gonzalez, honorable high spot, just because, she continues to be dominant. She won the match for her team, et cetera, et cetera. Actual high spot goes to Tian Sha, because I got to break out my epic movie voice, my movie trailer voice, for a good 2 minutes on the show. She got a really, really, really cool vignette. And that something is well done when it has us talking about undefeated streaks and world titles within a few months, the way that we were on this episode. So Tian Sha is my high spot.
Completely agree, man. All right, with that said, guys, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to like the video as you file out. The more likes you leave for NXT reviews on YouTube, the more likely we are to be the top of those search results. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon down below so you never again miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Be sure to comment when this video is done processing. What are your hopes for Tian Sha? What do you think the potential of the character is? What do you think the potential of this faction is? Talk to us. Be sure to check out everything we're involved in the description box, from Twitters all the way down to our Patreon. For Patreon, let me just talk to you guys. We do TWitWoW requests. We've actually got one coming up February 23rd at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be doing WrestleMania 25, courtesy of Craig Skiff. If you want to know how to get pay-per-views or matches or what have you done by us, live reacted to, go to our Patreon link and see the breakdown there. Other things we offer our patrons for $1 a month. You get 5 Q&A questions. TWitWoW does Q&As the last Thursday of every month. This month, that is February 25th. Non-Patreon donors only get 3 Q&A questions. So if you're like, man, I used up my 3, but there are still things I'd really like to know from John and Ashton. Just $1, you get 2 extra questions to use up for a full set of 5. For $3 every month, you get TWitWoW Discord access. I think our Discord community is very tight-knit, very intimate, very wonderful. We've started doing Among Us Mondays, on the Discord. We even did it this past Monday for the post-Rumble Raw. Had a great time. I won a few imposter games, got killed a bunch of times, but still was smiling through it all. It's a great time. We're going to be doing that again, actually, this coming Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Going to be doing another Among Us Twitch stream for the post-Rumble SmackDown. But just on the regular standard we just do Among Us with our TWitWoW faithful every Monday during Raw, because Raw just absolutely freaking sucks. So, yeah, get in on that, $3 a month if you want to join us for Among Us Mondays, or if you just want to chill with people. If Among Us isn't your thing, that's not a problem. We've got plenty to offer for anybody that wants to check out the TWitWoW Discord. Be sure to follow us both on Twitter. My pinned tweet, and you can find me at John_TWitWoW, is to collect Q&A questions. You can submit them YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Discord. So be sure to reply to my pinned tweet, and I'll see your questions right there, all ready to go for Q&A day. Ashton's pinned tweet, and you can find him at Ashton_TWitWoW, is the TWitWoW schedule for, every month. So it's February. He hasn't gotten the schedule fully done yet for that, but we're only in the first week of February. I think it's safe to say, Ashton, by the second week, you'll probably have it done and up on your pinned tweet.
Well, and to be fair, this first week in February I already had filled out on the previous schedule anyway, so it's no big deal.
Exactly. So whenever you want to know what TWitWoW's doing, always be sure to check in with Ashton's pinned tweet because he always has the schedule nice and broken down, and we're both good about updating, when a recording has moved, been canceled, what have you. Following both of us on Twitter, that's when you get the most immediate alerts, and the Discord, I would say. Twitter and Discord if you want immediate TWitWoW alerts, and I still wonder one day if we'll ever make an app that just give you alerts that way. But yeah, Twitter, Discord are the best way to get all your TWitWoW news about what recordings are happening, and all stuff like that. So, with that said, I think I'm actually making pretty good time on this. I've already mentioned that we've got a post-Royal Rumble SmackDown Rocket League stream. That's Friday at 8. But tomorrow, actually, and I only say this because Ashton doesn't have this on the schedule, at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, it is 5 tomorrow. It's my favorite commentary that we do. We talk about WWE, NXT, New Japan, Stardom, and Indie Feds, who are our 5 favorite performers in each of those kind of branches, and then our overall top 10 list. It's a great time. I'm really excited about my NXT, New Japan, and Stardom lists. Others going to be tough for me, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. Others probably going to be shit for me this time because I haven't paid attention to really anything at all. But those 3, NXT, Stardom, and New Japan, I am very excited to talk about. Always love to hear what Ashton's got going on because I know him and I think differently at times about what we gravitate towards. So if you ever wanted to pick our brains and be like, what are John and Ashton really vibing with right now? Tune in tomorrow at 5 and get your answer. And again, I already talked about the Twitch stream happening Friday at 8, so I think that about covers it because we don't have anything this weekend. So guys, with that said, and then the furthest things again, WrestleMania 25 live reactions February 23rd at 4. And then February 25th at 7.
Oh yeah, we are going to be doing a Stardom live reaction Friday at 5.
Oh, yes, that's right. Thank you for reminding me, Ashton. I actually totally blanked on that because Stardom, they didn't fucking get all their stuff up today. So yeah, Friday at 5. Thank you. Friday at 5. We will be doing Stardom live reaction, so that is something else to look forward to. And then again, at 8, we'll be doing Among Us Twitch stream. And then just the furthest things down the line for the month, February 23rd, TWitWoW Request Live from Craig Skiff, WrestleMania 25. And then the 25th, Q&A for the month of February. So be on the lookout for all that. Thank you guys so much for joining us as always. You're wonderful. Until we meet again, which again will be tomorrow at 5 for 5 be good to yourselves and each other. Until then, tune in. Peace out.